Welcome to FuzzyTek, the show where I talk about technical, geeky, nerdy stuff. I'm Fuzzy, and in this episode I'm going to be creating my own TV channel using a Raspberry Pi and this RF modulator. Oh, and it has teletext too. Why am I doing this when there's loads of cool streaming services and ways to consume video content these days? Nostalgia, I suppose, and well, because I can. I was also inspired by this post on the Raspberry Pi subreddit by probnot. He's even gone a few steps further and created a multi-channel system with a variety of different shows and programs. A link to his channel as well as a full video of what you're seeing now is in the description. I think it would be good just to leave it on and watch something on the TV when I'm eating my lunch instead of sitting searching endlessly for something to watch on YouTube while my food goes colder. Just throw on the channel and watch whatever's on it, just like when I was younger watching cartoons or even in game shows. So how does it all fit together? Well, the Pi contains some software that will output the video along with a logo overlay in the corner. I don't need a desktop environment, as you'll see shortly. I can just use the command line and a bash script to get it going. I'll be using DietPi for this, and through my tests it was the system that used the least resources. Granted, I only tested Raspbian Lite and FreeBSD, but still, it was the best option in terms of minimal resource usage and ease of setting up the way I wanted. To begin with, I put DietPi onto the SD card and booted it up. When you first boot DietPi, it resizes the partition on the card and then eventually lets you log in. I'll be logging in via SSH to do the rest of the setup. The default login is root, with DietPi as the password. It then updates some packages and asks you to set up a user password. Eventually we get to a software setup screen. Here I change the SSH from drop bear to OpenSSH. I also set up the CPU-GPU split to be a bit higher, changed my time zone and set an auto start script. Once it was installed, I rebooted the system. Once rebooted, I logged in as the DietPi user and installed the required packages for building the software we need, along with libpngv and a needed Raspberry Pi development package that the DietPi doesn't come with. And then I downloaded raspidmx from the source over at Andrew from Melbourne's GitHub repo via wget and built it. Of course I could have used Git to clone it, but I didn't want to install it just to use it once or twice. There's a link in the description for the repo. I only needed the pngview application, but everything was so small and quick enough to compile, I thought I may as well just build the lot. Once it was built, I moved the file I needed to the home directory and installed omxplayer. Next was to test that I can output video from the command line. I copied over a test media file and fired up omxplayer. Turns out the user needs to be a member of the video group to play videos, so I fixed that and tried again. I'm using this for playing videos as it allows me to set the layer, more about this in a moment, and also increase the volume output a bit. It also uses hardware acceleration, which is very much needed in this case. I tried VLC and it just stuttered along and was a general pain to work with. omxplayer worked flawlessly. Anyway, now I could add a channel logo, but what should it be called? Fuzzy TV? No, that just sounds like bad reception. FuzzyTek TV perhaps? Panda TV it is. I knocked up a logo and transferred it over. I then added some lines to overlay a black background behind all the content on the startup of DietPi, as well as one for the logo. These are using layers, so the black background is at the bottom, the video will be next, then the logo above those. If we don't have the black background and no video is playing, then the logo will just display above the normal video output of the Linux text shell, which doesn't look so great for a TV channel. After setting the layers, I saved and rebooted, and the Pi displayed a black background with my logo in the corner. I did a lot of fiddling around to get it to display in the right place, but eventually found some numbers I'm happy with. It looks like it's too far in on the capture, but on my living room TV it looks just fine. Now to start the video script. I'll eventually set it up to play a random video file from within a folder, but for now it will just play the test file. It's written in a way that if omxplayer ends, it will play again, Currently it's the same file over and over, but with more files it will play the next one in line and not the same one. Anyway, it looks great on my monitor, but what we really want is to have it on the TV. For this I purchased a TV modulator. This device turns an analog video signal input into an RF channel that you can tune your TV to. It also takes input from your existing TV antenna, so you have all the normal channels you usually get too. I chose channel 73 on the device, which ended up being analog channel 6 on my TV. One down from my normal digital channels. Handy. And there we have it. I can chuck on the TV during lunch and watch a random cartoon just like when I was a kid. Now as a bonus, something I've always enjoyed about TV is the teletext system. Growing up in the UK I used to put it on channel 4 and play a quiz called Bamboozle. In a way I suppose teletext was kind of like the internet, just not. Thanks to a project on GitHub by Ali1234, we can have teletext on our channel that will give us information about the Pi, such as its network address, RAM usage and temperature. To use it we simply download the repo as before, compile the software, enable it and then run it. Although instead of running it I'm going to put it into our startup script so it runs automatically at boot. If you're using NTSC you'll need to use CEA608 instead. There's a link to the repo in the description which explains it all. Anyway, now when I press the text button on the TV remote, we see the wonderfully pixely Raspberry Pi page of teletext. The example even has 2 pages. Just a note, this only works with the analog video out and not HDMI. I hope this has been an interesting video and maybe even inspired you to make your own channel and remember the times when on-demand content wasn't really a thing. If you like this video please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, please tell me why. If you have any comments or feedback, let me know. Many thanks for watching and until next time, bye bye.